Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, your bartender in the OSR, Eric Tenkar. Today, we are looking at Project Black Flag Playtest Packet Number 1. The document this document contains the character creation rules for the first core fantasy role-playing playtest packet. Listen, I've barely even skimmed the first few pages. Figured we go through this together, make some observations. By the way, tenkars-tavern.games slash humble kobold is the link to go to the Humble Bundle store. There are a bunch of OSR and 5e releases in this bundle. 25 gets you everything. I think it's like over 40 products. It's a very good bundle if you like 5e and OSR stuff. A lot of it is Kobold stuff. I think it's worth the value. If you do, please shop through the link. I'll pin the link as a comment at the end of this. It's how you can help support this channel. Now, on to Project Black Flag. So, first things first. Core fantasy role playing, which means that Project Black Flag is obviously not the name of this game. We don't know what the name of this new 5e clone is going to be, but there you go. How to use this packet. The core fantasy system is backwards compatible with 5th edition and can be used in conjunction with any existing 5e material. Now, this is packet number 1. It's only 12 pages long. Obviously, not a complete game. So, you actually have to break out your 5e rules because you need an existing 5e base class to use this. I have no idea what my 5e books are, and since I don't have any digital versions of them, I will probably have to either find or download the 5th edition basic rules, which are the only PDF versions available, so I can give this a try. So, they do say that characters created using the CFS system, I'm going to say that from now on, are slightly more powerful than characters created using 5th edition, but they're close enough that a 5e fighter and a CFS fighter could still play together at the same table. This is intentional. So what are we seeing here? We are seeing the same power creep, and that's not it. Listen, I'm not trying to criticize. I'm making an observation. Same power creep that we saw going from 3.5 Pathfinder, right? Bit of a power creep. Well, we got a power creep going on over here. If you'd like to make a 5e character of equivalent power to a CFS system character, simply give the 5e character a feat that the character would meet the prerequisites for at first level. The optional 5e feat rules can be found in the SRD 5.1. Okay. In terms of mechanical power, any of the 5th edition's race and or sub-race combinations can be substituted for any of the core fantasy system's lineage and heritage combinations. Remember, they're not the first ones to do this. I might even be doing this in Continual Light, moving away from using the term race to heritage or lineage. It is what it is. Welcome to the Labyrinth, a fantastical universe of infinite worlds linked by twisting corridors of magic. Here you will find realms like Midgard, Hades, the Dreadful Domains, and homebrew creations, tied together by the mysterious will of the maze. So basically, they're saying that all these worlds using this system can likely intermingle at some point. Okay. What is fantasy role playing? If you're playtesting this, you better know what it already is. What's a role playing game? Role of the game master, role of the player character, the dice. Should be familiar with the dice. Core fantasy in a nutshell. It's intended to be flexible, so it doesn't come with assuming a standard setting. These rules are compatible with any published setting or unique worlds designed for your table. However, these rules assume the setting you adopt is rooted in the fantasy genre. Okay. Which means that the assumption is fantasy worlds have magic, the adventures are heroic, unique locations to explore, power structure and systems, conflict, because that conflict you don't have story. That's a basic. I think most of us should know about that. Chapter 1, character creation. Character concept. Let's see. Choose before you can. This makes sense. You shouldn't be worrying about the game benefits without knowing what kind of character you want to play. I get. There's some people that just have to gamify it right away. Choose a class. Okay. Your character class gives you class features at first level and lists other features you gain access to as your character gains adventuring experience and levels up. It also dictates your proficiencies. Then they mention level. There's 20 levels. Hit points and hit dice. Now, by the way, folks, um, just so we're all on the same page here, they're not changing the terms, right? They're not hit dice or hit dice, and hit points or hit points, and levels are levels, and constitution is con. They're not changing this shit. So, and I don't believe that there's a Creative Commons. Nope. So there's no CC. There's no OGL. So there, Kobold is asserting that things like proficiencies and proficiency bonuses, all these things can be spoken about, referred to, without going to the OGL, the CC, under copyright. Determine ability scores: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. Okay. Same abbreviations for such as we are used to. A little typo here: determine your starting ability scores. Roll 7 4d6s. I mean, I think it means roll 4d6s, add up the highest 3, discard the low die, then write it down. Do it 5 more times. Assign as you wish. One score below 16 gets a +2. One score below 17 gets a +1. It's a very generous, more generous than I've ever been as a DM. But okay. Ability score modifiers. This is basically the array that we know. All right, there isn't that much different to this. 12 to 13 +1, 14 to 15 +2, 16 to 17 +3, 18 to 19 +4, 8 to 9 -1. So this is what we know. Choose a lineage and heritage. Once your class is decided, choose your character's lineage and heritage. You can choose to be a human or a lineage common to the fantasy genre, like dwarf or elf, and a heroic character's lineage informs certain hereditary traits like lifespan, size, speed, ability to see in the dark. And then the heritage is apparently where you grew up. It's your culture. So one is your, I guess, genetics, and one is the actual culture. Choose a background. Choose a background. Your choice of background helps define your character's personal history prior to taking up the mantle of adventurer. And it gives you access to skill proficiencies, talents, and other benefits like additional languages. Your lineage and heritage includes your size, your senses, your base movement or speeds, any additional proficiencies. Your background includes any skill or tool proficiencies, your languages, your talent, any additional starting equipment, your adventuring motivation. Oh, you got luck points. Well, that's certainly interesting to see. All right. Gaining levels. You start at level 1 and you gain experience points. Hit points. See, this is so far what we know. To calculate your new hit dice, when you level, you roll another hit die. You add it. If you have a con modifier, you add it. Now, the thing that you can either track XP, and they give you the XP chart, or you can use milestones. You don't track individual XP. Instead, it's after sessions or after an adventure or whatever. This is ideal for faster paced games or groups that are focused on storytelling. Interesting. Lineage and heritage. While humans are common to most settings, the fantasy genre is full of other fantastical kinds of people. When you create your character, you can choose whether your hereditary traits are human or one of another fantasy lineage. You will also use this section to determine if you have heritage traits tied to your lineage or to an entirely different kind of society. So, your heritage dictates certain abilities that you have because of your connection to a particular group or society. Heritage includes all manner of tangible and intangible cultural elements such as architecture, works of art, folklore, traditions, language, and natural environment. So choose a heritage detailed in your character's lineage, or choose one of the heritages detailed in a different lineage if that best fits the narrative for your character. So I guess if you want to play an elf that was raised amongst dwarves, you have the physical traits of an elf, but you have the heritage of a dwarf. Alignment, I don't tend to go too deep right now. Good, evil, law, chaotic, neutral. Yep. Uh, dwarf lineages. I'm not going to go. It's going to. Elves, cloud elves, grove elves, I guess, wood elves. Humans include nomadic, cosmopolitan. I don't. Did I see a halfling here? Did I miss halfling? I guess no halflings. I guess always overlooked, right? Um, Adventuring motivation, talent. This looks pretty well laid out. I would have to say I'm actually tempted to break out my basic D&D rules and create a character using those rules and these rules and see what I come up with. Now, this is coming from somebody who's played one session of 5e at ShyCon last year. So, I am not going to be the skilled individual making a 5e character, but I will say that what little I see here on these first 12 pages from Kobold, I like what I see. And I like some of the concepts here that are going on. And I like the fact that they're using the terminology that we are familiar with. So, I'd love to ask some people questions about that because I know other creators, other game designers that are moving away from using these terms because these terms might be considered a little dangerous territory to step into. So, folks, I'd love to hear your feedback. If you've got these playtest rules, let me know in the comments below. Please, again, I'm not a 5e player. I kind of like what I see, but again, comparing this to 5e, I'm not the expert on that one. I'm coming in this from an old school perspective, and there's stuff that I go, oh, I could use this. I like that way of playing with the lineage and the heritage. So this might be a lot of fun. Folks, as always, be safe, be well, God bless. Roll the dice, roll them well. Depending on when this comes out, Wednesday, there is a live stream. Stuart Marshall will be our guest. Yes, the blue OSR logo that we all know. So, folks, link below. If you like Kobold Press stuff, it's a good humble bundle. All right, folks. Good night. God bless.